Hi gang, this is Ken Bohannon. I had a hip revision on December 20th in Maine Medical through the surgeon is Dr. Adam Rana, fantastic surgeon. Lucky to be a part of this whole thing in the sense that from the beginning I had problems with my hip prosthesis, which goes back almost 3 years. I had a right profemur modular device put in me, and just about from the beginning, within the first few months, I started having problems. I thought it was bursitis, possibly. Didn't really know, but this kept going on for over 2 years. And then finally, when I moved up from Florida, I visited with Adam Rana, and we took a blood test, and sure enough, I had metallosis, cobalt poisoning from the right prosthesis, particularly with the trunnion, the part which fits from the femoral stem into the ball. So it's just this little part here, part of the connector, if you will, which is the trunnion, and this part is made out of cobalt, and it frets. And so it basically has a chemical reaction within your body. You start getting cobalt poisoning, you get cobalt ions throughout your system. They spread throughout your system and cause you a lot of problems. I was in severe pain, all my muscles shortened or truncated, I was bent over. It's an unbelievable experience. So I say, we went through blood tests, we discovered that. So I say, if you are undergoing a hip prosthesis, maybe you ought to make sure that you're not allergic to cobalt. Maybe ask your surgeon to give you a test to see if you have possible allergenic responses to cobalt. At any rate, I was replaced, so I got a ceramic head, I got a titanium part inserted in, so now this is titanium on titanium, which fits into a titanium stem, so there's not dissimilar metals. There are problems, obviously, in the literature with dissimilar metals. Remember, every year 1 million people get hip prosthesis, and it's hard to know the statistics because most surgeons don't, they're not a part of registry, national registry, so it's hard to know exactly the totality of the numbers we're talking about, but let's suppose it's anywhere from 100,000 to 200,000. There's a tremendous amount of revisions which are taking place. This also has, this particular prosthesis now has the titanium, and then it has the ceramic head, and then it has a polyethylene liner, acetabular liner. So that's what was put in me. Within 10 days, that's 10 days later, I can walk around. I'm in pretty good condition. Was in pretty good conditions, but the metallosis, which the trunnionosis produces from the cobalt poison, produces night sweats. I lost 25 pounds, and I'm still having this. The cobalt is a systemic problem. It might take 6 months to a year to get the cobalt out of my system, and they don't quite, frankly, they don't know. Through the literature, has some discussion of it. The long-term effects on your body. I recommend, if you're going to get a hip prosthesis, from my point of view, you should get an allergy test for metals, and do the research as to what kind of prosthesis is going to be put in you, and they generally talk about the rate failures and problems associated with them. And one of the chief problems nowadays associated with it is metallosis and or trunnionosis, and being allergic to either chromium or cobalt. And possibly some people could even be allergic to the titanium. Over time, all of these parts degrade over time, and eventually they have to be replaced because it's just a matter of internal oxidation and wear and tear. But you should get a long-lasting prosthesis. And unfortunately, with modular prosthesis, it's kind of hard to predict their longevity, especially when the variables in your conditioning and how active you are and so forth. So I would suggest, from the experience I had with the hip prosthesis and then with the revision, make sure that when you go into this you do all your research and before you make a decision as to how you'll proceed. Thank you. This is Ken Bohannon. You can find my information obviously on YouTube. You can look it up under trunnionosis and or hip revision or metallosis. Thank you and have a happy new year.